You've all heard me tell the little story about the boy sitting in a room full of dung, and he's digging through this dung with a great big smile on his face, happiest kid in the world. Guy walks by, says to him, "Son, what's the matter with you? You're digging through a room full of horse crap and you're smiling. What's wrong with you, son? Are you delusional?" And of course, the boy says to him, "No, sir. With all of this poop, I know there's got to be a pony in here somewhere." That, ladies and gentlemen, is the definition of optimism. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the definition of somebody that sees the bright side, somebody that sees the silver lining and not the cloud. That, my friends, is the definition of an eternal optimist. And that's who I am. That's what I am. I am an eternal optimist. And that's why I want to follow up a little bit today with something I talked to you about yesterday when we talked about something really bad happened. Well, today I want to talk about something along that same lines. And I want to suggest that there's no good things and that there's no bad things. There's just things. They are what you make them. And I'm going to follow up on this follow-up a little bit later today and talk about the verse in the Bible, which I think is a good teaching point. It says all things work together. And it goes on, and you can look it up and be ready for a little bit later as I bring that to you. But folks, things happen to you. Sometimes you want to think, oh, they're bad things. Sometimes you want to think they're good things. What if, ladies and gentlemen, they're just things? What if there's no bad things? What if there's no good things? What if there are just things? And the way that we react to them makes them what they are. I mean, you can be in a world of bad things. Some people could say, look at my life right now and say, boy, there's some bad things going on in Jeff's life. But Jeff doesn't look at it like that. Jeff thinks, wow, there's some things going on. What are the good things here? And I believe that if we can get to the place where we realize there's no inherently bad things, there's no inherently good things. And think about it for a minute. Where does bad turn into good? Where does good turn into bad? At what point do you move from good to bad? Where does that happen? And what point do you move from bad to good? Where does that happen? You can't define that. And maybe we can't define that because maybe it's undefinable, and maybe it's undefinable because it's not real, cousins. And now all of you knuckleheads can send me hate mail because I have a chevron on my cup. Well, if you're too dumb to know what that is, bum, 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 bum. It's Star Trek, retards. Anyway, I say that out loud and I just think it in my head. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm really not, but I wanted to be polite. So, what if there's no bad things? What if there's no good things? What if there's just things? Thank you, David. What if there's just things? And what if the key is detaching, unattaching? When we say something's good, aren't we attaching to it? I'll talk about that later today. When we say something is bad, aren't we attaching to it? Aren't we identifying it? Aren't we attaching to it? I can't think of it. There's a better word, but I can't think of it right now. We're identifying with it. We're attaching to it. And maybe that's the key, is to let things happen. Attachment to outcomes. Thank you, David. Maybe that's the key. Something happens. Instead of saying, oh, this is so bad. Oh, this is so good. Why don't we just say, oh, this is? What can I learn? That's the key, isn't it? Oh, this is. What can I learn? Because even in the things that you think are so good, there's going to be things that you can learn. Even in the things you think are so bad, there's going to be things that you can learn. We had a Star Trek reference, so think simply, felt it necessary to bring a Star Wars reference. I'm not a Star Wars guy, but he said, he was talking about this last night. There's no dark side of the Force, Luke Skywalker, just the a-hole users. That's true. How would you know the dark side if you didn't know the light side? How would you know the light side if you didn't know the dark side? How would you know the good if you didn't know the bad? And see, there's the key. Knowing the good and knowing the bad. Like Global Witnesses says, choose no side. I agree. Be neutral. There is no good, there is no bad. And if we just stay neutral, we don't pick a side, and we can learn from both sides. Boom. If you decide that you know what's going on, you've picked a side, and you've shut off your ability to learn from the other side. I'm a Democrat. You can't learn a thing from a Republican. I'm a Christian. You can't learn a thing from a Muslim. I'm a truther. You can't learn a thing from a New Age person. This is really good. Then you won't be able to see the warning signs. You won't be able to see the potentialities of future bumps in your road because you shut yourself off. This is really bad. You're missing the seed of potentiality within it. I tend to see rainbows and unicorns. I tend to see roses along the path, and they don't have any thorns. Part of my lesson is to see the thorns, to recognize the thorns are there, and realize that the thorns might be teaching me to be more careful in picking my roses. Think about that one, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. This is New Cosmic Knowledge, and guess what happens tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time? I will be live on this channel with the one, the only, Heidi Vandenberg, and the one, the only, I almost said her real name, Jenny Moonstone. That is going to be fun. We're going to be talking about this much ballyhooed subject of the ego. And let me tell you something, folks. This is not going to be like anything you've ever heard about the ego before. Jenny Moonstone, Heidi Vandenberg, Jeffrey Daugherty, live and in person, wall to wall, treetop all, coast to coast, border to border. We're going to be here tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Many thanks to Heidi. Many thanks to Jenny. Oh, there's Heidi in the chat room right now. Really looking forward to it. This is actually a subject Heidi birthed. And as soon as she's mentioned this to me, I thought, wow, that's powerful. People need to hear it. And then my next thought was, let's do a show. And she said, great, let's do it. And then we both thought, well, dude, let's bring Jenny in too. This would be great. So tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Heidi Vandenberg, Jenny Moonstone, and yeah, you got to put up with me too. So we're going to be here tonight. It's going to be great. Good things, bad things, they're just things. Make of them what you will. Ladies and gentlemen, much respect for all of you. I salute you for being here seeking after truth. Still trying to get my microphone situated. Maybe we'll get it done by tonight. I've got a couple of really powerful things coming up. Somebody asked me to look into will the meek inherit the earth, what that means. I've got the all things work together. I've got the thing about the Nephilim and human sacrifice and child endangerment. We've got Jenny and Heidi. We've got Rex coming up. We got Derek Bros coming up. I'm looking at my whiteboard. Oh, the show with Wayne. Wow. And I'm going to bust out a super special Serpent and Dove. It's going to be a reboot of a reboot, a relaunch of a relaunch. That's going to be very, very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. You are the last generation of real humans. Get yourself ready. Let's get busy. See you tonight. Before then, keep your eyes open. Hit the bell. Love you all.